Hey folks, back for another week of Horsing Around at the Lucky Lounge at AFC, along with Darren Elliott. I'm Brian McCormick. Lots to cover today. We've got the Silver Knights getting off the schneid, back in the win column last week against Calgary, getting ready for a weekend, first meetings of the season with the Milwaukee Admirals. We'll discuss. Jackson Hallum is going to join us in our second segment. He's had a phenomenal start to the season.
Yes.
And then assistant coach Jamie Heward, who runs the defense, runs the penalty kill, but of course just a tremendous wealth of experience, so we'll talk with him as well. So a lot to cover, but to start things off, for the Silver Knights, they get back in the win column. They lost 4 straight, but found a way to, I shouldn't say found a way. It was a pretty dominant 5-2 win over the Calgary Wranglers. Carter Hart makes his first rehab start, stopped 12 of 14. Before we break into all of it, though, we talked about the importance of when you hit that rough patch, your first rough patch during the season, you got to throw the brakes on it. You can't allow it to snowball. Right. Saturday's win, to me, and I phrased it this way when I was talking to Jacob Megna after the game, it felt like an enough is enough type outing.
Yeah, you know what? It's early in the year, but we had enough of we had some tough losses. We didn't quite play the way we wanted to, and I think we just finally decided we were going to play a full 60, and we had a little bit of a letdown there in the last couple minutes, but it was a big win for us. We needed it for sure.
It was more than a reset. Like you said, you give up 14 shots, right? And your D does all the scoring.
Yeah.
Or lots of it. So to me, that's a good description of it. It's like, okay, we know that our base didn't slide, even though we were losing. And they added to that. And to me, it was about the offense built on the base of defense.
And we're getting to that point of the calendar, mid-November. We talked about this last week, where it isn't early anymore. You can start putting real stock in what you're seeing, that the team is who you think they are, and what we were going to learn from this group. And it's one win. You got to continue to pile them. But was this group going to find a way to win, not just because, as you mentioned, not only a cloudy day turned into a rainy day, but also because we're learning how this team handles adversity. We're getting our first taste of that, and this is the type of win, the type of stopper game that didn't happen last year or the year before.
Yeah, and Magna made a great point when he talked to you last week. It's like you're not always going to have your same roster in this league. That's the way it goes, and so regardless of who is on the ice any given night, you've got to have that base. And that's maybe what seems more intrinsic this year, that it's built there. It's there. They're playing good team defense.
And let's talk about that. 14 shots against, as you mentioned. Carter Hart gets the win in his first rehab start. The whole point of it is for him to feel some pucks and get some looks.
Didn't get to see many.
He was busier in the third period than he was in the first and second. But of course, Ryan Craig isn't also going to say, all right, boys, let him through. This guy's got to get some work in. It was a very stable defensive performance. And that isn't just work in your own D zone, which is part of it. It's also breakouts, quick ups, playing on the other end of the ice. The best way to play defense is not to play in your D zone at all.
And again, the other part of how this team is built is on the forecheck. Mm-hmm. And so that was really part of it. But you're right. It's much like Vegas Golden Knights. We were talking about, when they played the Minnesota Wild. Minnesota Wild, ferocious forecheck. So that means you don't get clean zone exits as much. It's harder to get up the ice. And so the rush game kind of goes away. So conversely, when you do get back to pucks and you do get that quick first pass, you're allowed to get your defense into the rush, and that's really strength of this HSK team. And
getting the defense into the rush, that is how Jeremy Davies scores the first goal of that game. It's a drive to the net. I believe it was Jonas Romberg who gets knocked down into the goaltender, into Owen Say, and the bowling ball takes all the pins out, and Jeremy Davies may not score many easier goals, but that's again being up in the play.
Right.
One of the goals I thought was most impressive, Lucas Cormier scores with 1.8 on the clock, end of the period. And that's a sequence that starts in the D zone. Calgary has a shorthanded opportunity. They put some shorthanded pressure on, and the Silver Knights get the puck back, and you wouldn't blame them with 10 seconds on the clock if they said, hey, let's get to the dressing room. We've got a lead. Let's calm it down a little bit. They pushed it quick. And Trevor Connolly gets up on the left wing. He doesn't just throw a prayer into shin guards in the middle. He waits, wait for that second wave, and then Lucas Cormier gets everything behind it. But that was recognition of, hey, 10 seconds is enough time to get something done.
It is, and it's also recognition of where you are from a game clock standpoint. Like managing it, you might as well make a good first effort because you have time, but secondarily, if it doesn't work out, there's no danger going the other way.
Yeah.
So it was heady play by both those players on that play.
And we've talked about the offensive production from the blue line, which was expected and is showing up as the coaching staff would hope. We'll talk about this with Huey a little bit later on too, but with 4 goals on Saturday, one of which was Jacob Megna's buzzer beater empty netter, but still counts nonetheless. That is now...
You're going to do math in real time?
I'm going to do it in real time. It's at fingertips. 13 goals for the Silver Knights blue line this season out of 53. That's a huge percentage, and it isn't at the expense of, there isn't a drought up front. Guys up front are scoring just fine, but the blue line is augmenting it in such a way.
And that's something that, again, going back to the big club, they've been looking for more of that. It's been part of their history.
Prior to this week, the storyline was that Caden Korzak was the only defenseman who had a goal.
Right, and so all of a sudden, you see, Henderson scores and Theodore scores. So it's starting to be part of the big club, and it's necessary nowadays. You can't expect to score goals if you're saying it's 3-on-5, because all 5 defenders, all 5 skaters play defense now.
Yeah.
So the only way you're going to be a consistent offensive team is if you rely on your blue line for goals. Now, that kind of 25% roughly percent of your goals from your blue line, you'll absolutely take it, but you can't expect it.
And meanwhile, up front again, Raphael Lavoie has points in 10 straight games. That's his career best. He has points, at least a point in every game but one. So phenomenal consistency from him out of the gate. Tanner Lazinski was called up and sent back this week, but he's near a point per game pace. Right. And then we're going to talk with Jackson Hallum, Tuomas Joronen. What they've done as a pair has been super impressive.
Well, they're very determined.
And not to leave out Matthias Sapovalov, but those two seem to be working hand in hand on a lot.
Yeah, and they've had that, whatever you want to define chemistry as. It doesn't look right. Do they do a lot of good things together on the ice? That's certainly it. But they skate, and they're pesky. Is that a term, pesky? If you have to play against them, I think that they would just get under your skin.
Yeah. I don't know how much you noticed. It stood out to me. One play that happened again and again with Hallum and Joronen on the ice. First of all, Joronen brings some physicality. He's got a terrific shot, and he's not an agitator, but he'll hit you.
Right.
He'll finish you off if he gets to you behind the goal line. So there's that element of the forecheck, and we talk about Hallum's speed all the time.
Right.
But on Friday night in particular, game that the Silver Knights didn't win, there were 3 instances where the Silver Knights broke out via the just high flip to the neutral zone, the hoist, if you will.
Yeah.
And the image that keeps coming to mind to me is, think of in football, think of a punt returner who wants to do a fair catch. Of course, that's not an option for the defenseman with his heels on the blue line, but you've got a defenseman at a standstill, waiting for the puck to come down, hearing footsteps as Jackson Hallum's coming at him 60 miles an hour. And when that puck comes down, if you don't glove it cleanly, glove it, drop it, move it, all you need is one skip, one bounce, you're at a flat foot, Hallum is moving, you're not going to catch him. And Friday alone, they drew 2 penalties that way and a sequence that led directly to the Joronen goal.
Yeah, on the Joronen goal, I remember that one, but it's become part of the game in general. The late, great Brad McCrimmon used to call it the $1 million flipper. If you had the skill to be able to flip it out of your own zone into the neutral zone, it was worth $1 million back then. But
exchange rate.
Exactly. But the thing about it is, from a defensive standpoint, right, if you're the guy flat-footed, like I know with VGK, I've talked to some of the defensemen. They actually have a plan. Like if you have that, you want to knock it to so everybody knows what you're trying to do to this weak side, where the closest side you are, knock it to the boards and hope to get help from
You're going to bat it.
You're going to bat it and not try to catch it and play with it like you talked about. So it's so much a part of the game now that there's strategy to defend against it.
And you'd also imagine, again, and everyone's going to handle it, well, I shouldn't say everyone's going to handle it differently, but there are different ways you can approach it.
Sure.
Because if you bat it, it's going to be a hand pass, and you just live to fight another day.
That's right.
But the other perhaps result of it is that if I'm a defender and I know I'm going to be under that kind of duress, and again with Hallum the speed jumps out,
Right.
but he's not the only one who's anyone coming down you're going to have happy feet.
Yep.
It's just going to back me off, and it's going to make the zone entry all that more simple, or at least less of a wall to go against.
Yeah, you want to, especially if you're a fast team and have fast players, you want to set up those skate chases as much as you can. It's a way to relieve pressure and then instantly put pressure on the opposition quickly.
It's been a good element, and we'll ask Jackson about that
Yeah.
too. Not to give all the secrets away, but just it's something he's taken advantage of over these last few weeks for sure. Talking about exciting storylines from this past weekend, I'm sure Golden Knights fans, Silver Knights fans were ready to see Trevor Connolly back in game action. And if you want to consider, he hasn't played since mid-July-ish, I think, is when he was hurt during the summer. So these games you would expect him to have just as much rust or cobwebs to knock off as anyone playing their first couple of preseason games. And if he's rusty, that's scary, because he had 3 points and looked phenomenal. And I asked him this week, I said, well, how'd you feel on Saturday? He's like, way better than Friday. He had an assist in 4 shots on Friday. He didn't look that bad that night either.
Not at all. And think about when he played last year at the end of the season. He was an immediate impact player. Mm-hmm. Lots to be excited about with Connolly. He just has a skill set that we really haven't seen around here.
Yeah.
He can create his own shot, flies up and down the ice. We've seen that, but there's like a tangible element that something comes of it. There's a lot of players where you're up and down and it's like, we took time off the clock, but we didn't really accomplish much more. He seems to get something done each and every shift.
And the goal he scored, the weekend as a whole, he did a lot well.
Right.
But the highlights are going to speak for themselves. And the goal he scored, which was right off the center ice draw,
Yep.
he comes down the right side, beats a defender with his speed, gets to the inside. Again, it's just a pure skill play.
Gets to the inside.
And I asked Jacob Magna about that after the game, and he said, you know what, he's been doing that to us for weeks in practice, so it's nice to see someone else have to deal with it. but that is the point. There's certain things he can do
Yep.
that as an opponent, you just got to try to find a way to manage it. It's not that you can just keep him to the outside and leave him out there.
Right, and I'm excited to see him in a larger sample size, because it was a small sample size at the end of last year. The injury has left it just a couple games, first weekend in. So I want to see like 15, 20, 25 games,
Sure.
what he's able to put together.
Yeah, a goal and 4 points in 6 games last spring
Yeah.
is what he did. So yeah, we are looking for our first chunk of film on Trevor Connolly, but a really good start
Yeah.
for him this past weekend. Before we go to break, we talked about this last week. Might as well circle back to it. I think we prepared people for Braden Bowman pretty well, but he's probably doing greater things than a lot of us expected.
We're just horsing around, and do we take any credit whatsoever for with the send-off? He gets the call up, and exactly what I think VGK would have hoped for. Mm-hmm. We called him all kinds of variations of Mark Stone Light, a lot of the same attributes without putting pressure on him, and that seemed to have followed him. I heard the coach even mention that, Coach Cassidy. And the power play, everybody was slotted right now. Braden Bowman scores twice on the power play, and he's in that spot where Mark Stone played on the goal line, does a lot of the same things, and he was doing it here. Maybe Mitch Marner being back at the top had something to do with it as well.
Sure.
The point being, everybody was slotted back in their comfortable spots on the power play, and it turned over where they started scoring again on the power play.
And it's not just, hey, Bowman fits really well in that spot. Sure does.
Right.
But the whole 5-man unit looked a lot more natural than it had the week prior.
And it opened up all the other options, whereas that just wasn't there for whatever reason, with Mitch Marner feet planted on the goal line, a spot he's never played. And he is absolutely, as we have already found out, much more special when he's moving. Mm-hmm. When he's just in a kind of a one-dimensional spot where he has to give it up. It didn't work for whatever reason. Sure worked with Braden Bowman there last week.
It's also worth the discussion with Bowman. He's on that power play unit. He's been playing top line with Barbashev and Eichel.
Right.
So often we talk about the if you're going to call a player up, now sometimes you just need what you need.
Right.
But if you take a 30-goal AHL guy and put him in a fourth-line role, you're probably not going to get the best out of him. It's not what he does, but you sometimes play the hand you're dealt. From the other side of the perspective, sometimes you think, well, Braden Bowman is smart, he works hard, he's good with the puck, he's a great IQ. These are all the things we think he has. How does it translate to the NHL level? On top of that, okay, you're not just going to get the AHL version of him and put a different sweater on him. Put him with Jack Eichel. And what can Jack Eichel unlock from Braden Bowman's skill set?
And you know, in all fairness, this organization does a pretty good job of that, calling up by need.
Pavel Dorofeev wasn't put in a fourth-line role. He went up and he was brought to do what he does.
Right.
Yeah.
And that's permeated the game. When I was in the AHL a long, long time ago, I remember that was always the complaint. I had a teammate, Murray Eves, 120 points back in the American Hockey League. Prolific scorer. You get called up to Detroit, fourth line. With guys that, back then, fourth line players, a lot of them couldn't even skate. And you're playing with a skilled guy, and he's trying to, pass to guys that have boat oars for hockey sticks. It doesn't work, and that's why so many guys back in the day, especially, you think different situation, different mindset, might have been NHL players and never really got the right chance.
Now Braden Bowman is, and he's making the most of it so far.
Making the most of it, yep.
Well, we're going to hop out. Before we do, I just want to remind you, we're going to have an opportunity. There's a number of things going on at Lee's Family Forum this weekend. We're going to give you the details on all of them. But one of them is Wands and Wizards Night, presented by M Resort. That is going to be on Saturday, kind of a Harry Potter themed. Are you a big Harry Potter guy?
No.
Okay, you have time. There's only 7 books. 7 books?
I've seen one of the, never read any of the books. I think I saw one of the movies.
Okay, one of the movies. Well, you can do that. You can watch the movies, and it'll take you 12 hours. Or you can read the books are about 8,000 pages combined. You can do it. But we will have Wands and Wizards Night on Saturday against the Milwaukee Admirals. Should be a lot of fun. Fans can get this wand, which does work, in a ticket bundle. So you can purchase a ticket, get this wand, and get these giveaway scarves as well as part of that ticket bundle. If you don't buy the bundle, that's okay. You won't get the wand, but everyone will get the scarf. But I've had this wand for a few days.
You've been practicing.
I have been. I'm getting pretty good at it, I think. And what you need, Darren, is a simple swish and flick. So if you'll observe, just swish and flick. Well, you see, I'm doing okay with the motion.
Well, you got what you were looking for.
It's the soft hands that I struggle with.
Well, here. This is...
Oh.
Deft touch.
Hasn't read the books.
Practicing too.
Yeah, right. Well, everyone will get one of these house sorting scarves.
I like
and
it.
if you want to go for the ticket bundle, you can get the wand as well. And as we've proven, it does work. So head on to HendersonSilverKnights.com for all the details for Wands and Wizards Night presented by M Resort. We'll hop out. When we come back, Jackson Hallum will join us. We're horsing around.
Right side, Bowman looking, side of the net for McLean. Backhander scores!
We're back. We're horsing around. Brian McCormick, Darren Elliott. We're joined by Silver Knights rookie forward Jackson Hallum. Jackson, thanks for hopping up with us. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it too.
It's been a terrific start for the team. It's been a terrific start for you as well. Just early portion of this season, your first AHL season. How are you getting acclimated?
Like you said, it's been pretty successful for me and the team. I think what helps me is just having, good teammates and good older guys that can help you, get acclimated to pro hockey because it is an adjustment, especially coming from college hockey. And the coaches have been great too, make me feel very comfortable. Facilities here are amazing. So everything here is pretty top notch, and I think it just speaks on the organization as a whole.
I found your comments in training camp interesting, that you thought that your skill set would translate to the pro game really well. What went into the decision that now was the time to turn pro?
I think I was just ready, just in general. I think that the way college hockey was moving, I kind of just wanted to get into another step in my career, and I think turning pro was that step. Time will tell if that was the right decision, but it was just it was just a decision, and you just got to work your hardest every day, and hopefully I can show why that decision was good.
Well, your skating certainly is translated, but the thing about it is, to me again, what's impressed me is it's not 100 miles an hour. It seems like you're finding good pacing appropriately.
Yeah, that's one of the things I've been working on since being drafted with Vegas. My senior year of high school was just kind of learning how to use my speed in different specific areas of the ice, not just going a million miles all the time. Like that's what
probably worked in high school, right?
Yeah, that's what Will Nickel would always tell me. He's like, when I first went to your games and watched you, you were just like a greyhound, like just right when those gates went down, you were just flying and you wouldn't stop. But now he said that I've gotten a lot better at picking and choosing when to use that.
Do you ever feel, I wonder, we talk about your speed so often and for very, very good reason, but I mean, you've been hearing about it your whole life probably. I wonder if you ever feel typecasted, like, hey guys, I do other things.
Yeah, sometimes I feel like, but yeah, I mean, obviously that's like the big one that people see, so they talk about it, but a lot of hard work goes into that, and definitely some good genes from my parents too. So
it's also probably something I would imagine that if you do something extremely well, when you're getting adjusted to a new league, it must help, in terms of positioning. There's certain things you're going to have to adjust to, but you're always going to be fast, and you can always use that to your advantage.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I have confidence in my game. Like when I get to new areas in my career, even college, like that was a big step for me from junior to college and then college to pro. It's just like understanding that you can have confidence in the areas of your game that you can control. And one of the things I can control is how I use my legs. And it doesn't have to be using my legs offensively. It can be forechecking the puck and tracking back. It can be areas like that just give me confidence to go out and play better each night, and show me that I can play with some top-notch guys too.
The tracking back, again, probably something you didn't have to do much of in high school.
Yeah.
It's a bigger part of the game as you move up. But one of the things that I noticed, and I mean it as a compliment, you seem to be pesky.
Yeah.
Like that speed, even on the track back, getting under the opponent's skin a little bit because you're determined.
Yeah, it's definitely probably pretty annoying for them. I know one of the things I've been trying to work on more is just seeing areas when I can attack guys on the PK, like up ice.
Yeah.
Like Huey, our defensive coach, he runs our PK, and he's been saying that you're so fast, you can get up the ice and you can get scoring opportunities from picking guys' pockets when they have their backs turned and stuff. So that's one of the things.
And drawing penalties, I think you do that too as well.
Yeah.
Well, we were just talking about it's, and again, everyone can take advantage of it, but you and Tuomas Joronen have seemed to particularly take advantage. These high neutral zone flips, where Friday alone against Calgary, you drew 2 penalties, and the Joronen goal kind of came right off of that. That seems like a particular area where D-men are vulnerable when you guys are on the ice. Yeah,
well, I told Tumo that he should, every time that he doesn't have a play on the wall, I told him to just high chip pucks to my side, and he's like, oh yeah, I know. He kind of
that's all that needs to be said, right?
Yeah, and he's been doing it, which has been really good. It's those plays on the walls for wingers are arguably one of the hardest plays for us as wingers. And if you can just be predictable and be in a spot to help him out, because he wants to make a good play and I want the puck, and when I'm on the wall, he wants the puck. So if we can just read off each other and do that, it'll be successful.
And you too, and Matthias Sapovalov as well. When we just talk about, and this includes the forecheck work you guys have done below the goal line as well. You're creating turnovers, but you're making plays off of turnovers. I think of the goal you scored in Abbotsford.
Yeah.
You set up Joronen very similarly this past weekend. A turnover behind the net and quick out in front. It seems like you guys, you're creating turnovers and you know where to go with it right away.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's one of the things Gregor, hammers home is anytime you do have a turnover in the D zone or in their D zone, our offensive zone, you want to look to the slot right away because that's where you're going to score, obviously. But if you can get a turnover, people protect the house so much. If you get it quick, sometimes they're late to close, and you can get a good opportunity to score. So that's one of the things we work on a lot.
You said good genes to your skating. When did you know that hockey was going to be a big part of your life?
It was probably pretty young. I remember I was on rollerblades at like pretty young. I was doing crossovers in my garage. Backwards crossovers, yeah, I remember that.
Show off.
I really liked football growing up too. But yeah, hockey was.
Did you play football?
Yeah, I did. I did until my 8th grade.
Okay.
Middle school. Because my brother tore his ACL playing football, and my parents were like, "You're not gonna play football anymore." And then hockey was my main sport anyways. But yeah, really young, I always had a love for hockey. My mom's side is big into hockey. Her uncle was on one of the Olympic teams for Sweden, actually. He was a goalie, played at Providence College. His name was Tom Howe. Yeah, I mean, hockey's been in kind of my blood on that side, not really my dad's side. My dad was he's from South. Like he was a military child, so he went all over, but he played basketball. But yeah, hockey's been
And you were a
big for me.
finalist for Mr. Hockey, right? Which is
Yeah, Minnesota, yeah. Yeah, my senior year that was pretty cool. It was a good experience, yeah.
Now I gotta ask. You said you played a little football. What position did you play there? Because I'm assuming you're as fast in cleats as you are on skates. But don't tell me you were an old lineman.
No. Well, that's funny you say that. I was on the D line when I was really young, because I was pretty quick. I just sacked a quarterback. Like that was when I was really young, like grade school. But yeah, that was fun. I played running back and wide receiver, and then cornerback on the opposite side of the ball. But I played lacrosse in high school too. That was also my big sport. But yeah, hockey and lacrosse are my main sports.
Do you think that's important though for the kids who are watching to expose yourself to a lot of different sports when you're young?
Yeah, I do personally. I know it's kind of changing now because it's almost.
It's
I know. Like I mean, my grandpa was a really good athlete. He had like 4 or 5 letters and for every year. He was like tennis, basketball, hockey. He lettered every year, freshman through senior year. And I think football too. I don't know if I said that, but it was crazy. I don't remember the exact stats. My mom always tells me. And like I could never do that now.
No.
It's just like it's just way too hard, you know.
They make you choose.
You have to choose when you're young. I mean, like you can get away with 1 or 2, but it's just so hard now.
Certainly nothing where the season overlaps.
Yeah, you play the whole year round. Like if you wanna be good in a sport, you have to be playing it the whole year basically, or else people are gonna pass you so fast. I was talking about that with our strength coach at Michigan last year. He has kids at that age where he's trying to put them into a lot of sports, but he's like, I want them to do that, but it's just like they're gonna get passed if I do that because it's so hard now. But I don't know.
One of the things about it too is, to me, playing other sports for kids, if you don't get to miss it.
Yeah.
It becomes more of a training regimen than
yeah.
putting down
Yeah,
a
I
season
agree.
and
Yeah.
being excited about the next season, the hockey season.
Yeah, that's what my mom always would. She always tells me that now. Like after a season, just take a good break and like even maybe get out of shape a little bit so you can have that motivation to get back in.
That's right.
She ran track at Drake. She was actually Woman of the Decade in the 80s, but trained for the Olympics and stuff. But she was a very good sprinter. Well, I guess the 800.
There's the genes. There it goes. It's unwrapped.
Anybody who wants to say they come from good genes, this is the bar we're going to hold you up against going forward.
I don't know. Yeah, she was a very good athlete, but she always just says like, make sure you're, taking care of your body in the off season. Give yourself a break.
But mental. That's the other side. Mental break means be hungry for when you get back.
Yeah,
to it.
exactly. Yeah.
Sounds like a close family. Everyone talks a lot. Everyone's watching, I imagine.
Yeah. My mom and dad and my grandpa love watching. Brother, I have a older brother, older sister, and then a younger sister, and they all watch when they can. I mean, my parents, my grandpa, my brother are the ones that really focus a lot on it. Obviously, my sisters support me a lot in hockey, but sometimes they're doing their own thing, and that's fine to me. I mean, it's hockey. It's not it's not the biggest thing in the world. So
Let's talk about, you went to the University of Michigan, which is a prestigious place to play college
Yeah,
hockey.
From Minnesota.
yeah, I always get that. Yeah,
Prestigious and controversial.
yeah, I know.
What was the path to go to Michigan, and what do you think you got from going the college route?
Well, I mean, first going to Michigan, I mean, you're around excellence all the time. That was one of the biggest things that my dad told me when I was going through the recruiting process, was just, Michigan's an excellent school. And we have a saying at our high school, excellence breeds excellence. And I thought that was very true for Michigan. Every sports team is top notch. I mean, they have off years every once in a while,
Right.
but the business school I was in that. It's a top-notch business school. You're around people that aren't just good at a sport. They're also good at a sport and in the classroom. So that was very cool for me. As for why I went the college route, I mean, I'm American, so that it never really was an option for me to go the CHL route at that point, because you couldn't play college. Because now you can go CHL and then play
right.
college. But even now, I don't think I'd do that. I'd probably just stay in the USHL and do that route. But it's interesting to see how that's all going to work with the changing dynamic in that. But yeah, I mean, I really like the college route, and I'd recommend people to go it, but everyone's different, so do whatever is best for you.
What'd you find at Michigan other than the excellence? Pretty fun campus.
Yeah, great campus, yeah. It's a very, very college feel,
Yeah.
It's not in a city. It's you're around college houses, you're around college people, you're not around
Its own community.
Yeah,
pretty cool.
it's very cool. Have you ever been there?
Yeah, I actually lived about 15 minutes south of there.
Oh, really?
In
Yeah.
South Lyon.
Okay, yeah. Ann Arbor is a really nice spot. I loved it. I mean, I miss it. So
There you
that's
go.
got to show that it has a special place in my heart for sure. But
I think anyone who's listening right now is hearing you talk at length for the first time. You come across as, and as though you always have been, a very goal-oriented, organized person. There's an all-businessness about you.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have a good time too, but you do seem very business-focused. And I asked Ryan Craig earlier this season, I said, Jackson seems like he brings a bit of a maturity for a rookie. And he says, well, he's not 19. He's got a couple more
that's
years
true.
under his belt. Do
Yeah.
you feel like you have maybe a mature outlook that perhaps your path to pro hockey helped you get?
yeah, I feel like I do. When people get to know me, I feel like that kind of goes out the door though sometimes. Like the guys on my team probably wouldn't say that. I mean, I feel like I do have some wisdom sometimes that I can share with them. But I'm a guy that likes to joke around with majority of the guys and just have a good time. But yeah, I would say I'm not a typical rookie. I mean, I'm a little older, like Kreger said. I'm 23, and most guys when they turn pro it depends. If you're college, it's right around that age. But
Sure.
That's one of the benefits of college.
Yeah.
College hockey.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You grow up a little, and you're a little more well-rounded as a person
Yeah.
when you get your chance.
Yeah, I think it does help you too. It sets you up well. Yeah.
To that note too, though, and you had an injury in college. You lost
Yep.
the majority of one season, and then
Yeah.
last year had a great
Yeah,
year.
I really only played 2 years in college. So.
Yeah. So I wonder, with that, you'd been to a couple of development camps
Yep.
before this season. When this season came around, were you kind of chomping at the bit? Like, hey, I've gone through orientation a couple of times. I'm ready to go pro. Let's do it.
Yeah, I was a lot. It's always nerve-wracking when you're going into a new spot. You never know how it's gonna play out. I mean, any new, no one really likes change, but it's good. It makes you an experienced person and well-rounded person. I was very excited, but I feel like I was more excited last year to play because I was coming off that injury. So I was really chomping at the bit then. And every season I get very excited. So I mean, it's great. I love starting the seasons off. It's pretty fun. But, yeah.
Let's tap into the goofy side. If you claim that's the other side of your personality, let's dig around in there a little bit.
Right.
Are you? What do you do away from the rink? Are you a movie guy?
Well, I'm probably gonna sound boring, but I mean, I like to read. I read stuff on stocks and read the Bible, and I like going outside. When I'm home in the summer, I like to fish. play pickleball, anything outside. I love hunting.
People.
Oh, no, I love pickleball. There's a good amount of guys that play on our team here, too, actually.
Fastest growing sport in the nation, isn't it?
I know.
Yeah. It's so fun. I love it.
So you read a lot. You said stock reports, read the Bible.
Yeah.
You're not reading Harry Potter, I take it?
No, I haven't. I have never read Harry Potter.
Okay. Well, this is going to be your first introduction to the topic then.
All right.
This is the jersey you guys are going to be wearing this weekend. You hold that up for everybody. So I will say it's Wands and Wizards night. But it's a little Harry Potter inspired, I suppose. Whatever subtle nods or references are weaved into that design mean absolutely nothing to you. But that's what you'll be wearing this weekend.
Well, I think isn't this the different houses?
See, he knows more than he lets on.
I know that part.
Kind of just absorb some just from being in the room. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, boys will be wearing these this weekend, and you can bid on these during the game. Head on to Silver Knight Socials for details on that. We'll give you some details later on in the show, too. But thank you for modeling, Jackson. It's very nicely done. What can you tell us thus far this season? We mentioned again what a great start you've gotten off to here with the Silver Knights, but it's not easy. So what are the things that have been the greatest adjustment?
Well, I do have to give credit to the defensive coach, Jamie Heward. Making...
Who do you guys think's in the back of the room right now?
Well, actually, one of the cool stories, Huey used to play with Ovi, so I've been picking his brain about that a little bit. That was pretty cool to hear the stories about him. He's the greatest goal scorer in NHL history, so that was pretty cool.
Huey is? I didn't know that.
Yeah, Huey. What was your question about? I don't even remember.
Just the things that as you've gotten into the AHL, some things are easier to adjust to than others. What are some of the things that you're still learning about?
Honestly, one of the big ones for me is understanding what guys on the other team are like fighters and kind of I don't know, knock you out and put you in a bad spot.
You can't look over your shoulder if you don't know what you're looking for.
Well, I mean, that's one of the big things that the veterans on our team say is like, you don't want to piss off the wrong guy in this league because you might think you're tough, but there's some tough guys in this league and their whole job is to fight. So, I mean, they're very good at it. Mm-hmm. So you don't, if you do get into a fight, you want to make sure you know who it's against, and you don't want to pick the wrong person because one, like my game isn't fighting, so I don't want to. If I do get in one, I don't want to get hurt and risk my ability to do other things.
Well, in that vein, then, have you tried to learn? Have you picked anybody's brain on that?
Yeah, I was talking to Flemmer and McKay about just learning tactics and stuff. Like if I was ever to get in one, I'd like to get in one at some point. Just want to make sure.
Have you ever been on the ice?
Not on the ice. I never did it in USHL, and
that's right.
only played 1 year there, and then you can't in college.
Right.
So I mean, that's not really a thing you can do
I think
there.
USHL put in a rule. It's
you don't really fight there either.
It's a 5 and a 10. They added that, and so guys are like, I can't sit up for 15 minutes.
Exactly. Yeah.
They kind of legislated it out of the game.
Yeah.
Well, not a bad thing.
He'd like to get. We'll find out if anyone from the Milwaukee Admirals watches this podcast. I guess we'll know by the end of the weekend. But it has been a really, really strong start to the season. Yeah. I guess aside from having a good rookie season, winning hockey games, any goals that you have set for yourself this season, or you just kind of roll with the flow?
Well, one of the goals is stay in the lineup every weekend. That's always a goal for everyone. Everyone's battling to be in the lineup. We have a really good team this year, so it's always competitive out there in practice too. But yeah, I mean, I don't have any grand goals. It's just kind of the mundane goals that really get you going and actually propel you. So that's one for me.
Well, it's been a lot of fun to watch these first few weeks. We're looking forward to more. Jackson, thanks for hanging out with us.
Thank you
for doing this, man.
Yeah, thank you.
That's Jackson Hallum. We'll hop out. When we come back, we'll have assistant coach Jamie Heward, who apparently is the reason why Alex Ovechkin has scored over 900 goals. Right after this on Horsin Around.
Imagine you played with like a guy like Fred Brathwaite, how good you would be and how many points you would get. Oh my God, he is so good.
It'd be the slowest line in the league though. You and me?
It's hard today.
Yeah, it's harder. A little harder today. Post travel. Feels good with 5 goals, though, huh? Feels good. Good handle. Yeah.
One of my favorite players in 75 was Henderson still.
Hey, rim it! Rim it!
Rim it, Lindros!
Rim it! Ah! See me fall? Not good. Fall.
Oh, I didn't.
Not good.
Look good.
Yeah. Fair play.
That beard is me. I'm trying to get one of those.
You'll get it.
When?
30. Hey! Woo! I was shooting. Yeah. Cameras are on. I was shooting.
I'm really surprised with that Fred Bradley. Doing a really good job.
You won't start. You won't start against us, eh?
I'll go.
You'll fight me?
Oh, not like that.
Oh, but one-on-one.
I get against you.
Well, you're better at that than me.
We're making the right plays. We're just not executing.
It's just habits, man. You don't know to hide.
It's the standard. It's the standard. Always advance, never retreat. Always advance, never retreat. I try.
Did you get some good content today?
No, probably not. I like goalies. Oh, way.
Back in America First Center, we're horsing around. Brian McCormick, Darren Elliott. We're joined by Silver Knights assistant coach Jamie Heward. Jamie, thanks for hanging out. Appreciate it.
No problem. My pleasure.
What do you think of the couch?
I like it. It's kind of like a frat house kind of couch.
That's exactly the vibe that we're going for here at the Lucky Lounge. Well, Silver Knights are off to a solid start this season, and the blue line has a big part to play in that. Curious what your thoughts are so far on what your D-Corps has been doing broadly, because there's a lot of new faces back there, and it was a really good veteran infusion that you got this summer.
Yeah, I mean the signings of Coughlin, Magna, and Davies has put our back end in a good spot. Wanted to get a few veteran guys in here to kind of help the younger guys out, in that direction. Weren't quite sure what was going to happen, and then all of a sudden Johansson ended up signing, and then Brandon Hickey. So you add another element of some veteran experience on the back end. Lucas Cormier coming off of a tough year last year with the shoulder surgery and getting a late start and kind of just not getting his way, finding his way as early as he wanted to, and Christopher Setoff coming into his third year. So really, the youngest and the only young rookie we have is Kemek. So we do have some experience back there, even though Setoff and Cormier are still young, kind of in games perspective. They've been here long enough to know what the VGK wants, what Krager wants, what I expect on the back end. So it's been one of those things where you add these veteran guys in, but they've been around long enough where they just kind of come in and hit the ground running, get a good training camp under their belt, and get the systems down, and then we just take off from there.
And it hasn't just been, like, the defensive posture has been really good. I mean, but up ice, you're scoring a lot of goals, adding to the offense and not. Did you see that part of it when you saw this score early on?
Yeah, I think the one thing that, just in talking with a couple of the pro scouts, at training camp, the one thing that they talked about were these guys were puck-moving defensemen, right? So you've got Dylan Coughlin, who was in the organization before, but they know that he's a puck-moving guy. They can get it up to him. Davies, a puck-moving guy. Cormier, a puck-moving guy. Even though Seds is considered, Setoff's considered kind of a defensive guy, he still can make that good first pass. Kemek can make a good first pass. Megs is a big body and a kind of a defensive guy, but you know what? He makes good plays at the blue line. He makes good plays to get the puck to our forwards in good positions. And I think that's the one thing that we're excelling at is with a young group of forwards, it's a responsibility of our D and our guys to make sure that we get the puck to our guys in the right spots. Right. you can tell in the games that we haven't played well, that is something that we've had to correct. We are trying to, you're maybe trying to cram a puck into a certain area that isn't there. But for the most part, our guys are doing that, and that's leading to more offense for those guys.
And to hang a number on it, 13 of the 53 goals this team has scored have come from the back end. That's a big number.
It is a big number, but and Dylan Coughlin's done it, for a while. Cormier's used to doing it. He's starting to find his touch again, and Meg scored that beauty the other night off of the shorthand off of the stick.
Well, the velocity to get it down there in time, yeah.
But I just think there's more creativity at the blue line. There's more. They're good skaters, so they're able to move across the blue line laterally. They're able to make plays. They're able to get pucks through. It's not perfect all the time, but I think we're at that point where, the good is definitely exceeding what we expected from those guys.
We were laughing a bit last week when we were talking about Lucas Cormier, and we'll get into individuals now, but the ability, the fluidity that you can have from some of your D pairings, we said positionless hockey. It's not positionless hockey, but there have been times where we've seen Lucas Cormier step out from behind the net and make a pass out to the neutral zone, and the guy he's connecting with is Jeremy Davies.
Yeah. They're you got to pay close attention in the zone to know where they are.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But the one thing that, and it's as you grow, those guys are you don't stifle their offensive ability. You let them do what comes naturally to them just within our system, and it can't be careless. And what we've tried to make sure these guys understand is, if things aren't going your way on a night where maybe it's not offensively for yourself, make somebody else better by just getting them the puck. And I think that's the one thing our guys are good at, the smarts that they have. They just understand how things work. If we're having a good game and our forwards are doing good things down below the goal line and in zone, just give them the puck. Let them do their thing. When there's nights where we're maybe struggling a little bit and other teams are checking hard, well then that's your turn, to do some stuff at the blue and make sure that we sustain good offense.
So you've been doing this a long time, coaching, defensemen, individual systems. What excites you? Getting the most out of an individual or seeing them understand how to play the pro game?
I think it's a combination of both. I enjoy when you work on something with a young defenseman, seeing him go out and implement it in a game.
Sure.
I enjoy watching him implement it within a system and in a pre-scout that we've talked about, and he understands that's why he has to do it. The system is there as a fail-safe to make sure that we are, we're structured. What do you do within that structure is kind of what I like to see our young guys do. And, even when you watch VGK, you watch their guys, they're good within that structure. They know when to jump up the ice. They know when to make that play. They know when Mark Stone is open. Like it's making reads all the time that you have to make sure that you're not considered a guy that doesn't move the puck, right? So it may not be great for you, but you see a guy open, you give him the puck, and that's the way to sustain offense. So I get excited about both. The understanding of the game, the understanding of the pro, a young guy learning the pro game and then implementing it. A good example is a guy like Caden Korzak, right? It took him a couple years to really get a handle on what was happening at the pro level down here. And the one thing I kept saying to him is when you go up, it's at times it's going to be a little bit easier. It's a harder league, but guys are kind of always in the right spot. So just make sure that your details are good enough so that when you go, you can jump in and you can play with those guys.
As a coach, you had a long NHL career and AHL career. Yeah. You were the defenseman of the year in the AHL during your career. I always wonder if it's, at this point, of course, you know the systems, you know the film, you can teach anybody. But is it easier to teach a defenseman who plays the game the way you played it? Or is appealing to every player's skill set just something that you know how to do naturally?
Well, the one thing about early in my career, the NHL and the American League was a lot different than it is now. It was a lot more clutch and grab. Yeah. It was grinding. It was your expectations as a defenseman were a lot different. What they expected from you as a a defensive defenseman
So
or
let me
an offensive defenseman.
Correct myself. You can't teach anybody to do it the way you did it.
Yeah.
No,
Well, I think
they'll be suspended.
Yeah, but it's almost like there were times when I was doing stuff that they didn't like, but it was kind of what the game is now. You know, I was trying to play fast as a defenseman. I was trying to do different things offensively that coaches just didn't like back then. They didn't like the fact that you were not loose, but there was just things you tried offensively that they just wanted to make sure you understood. And so now, going through and playing as many American League games, and even going to Europe too. Like the European game helped me understand, the puck moving side, the offensive side. The American League helped me with the play being a little more not as structured. You've got guys that are kind of a little more scrambly at times. Guys are making mistakes. The NHL game, once you get up there, is so structured that all of a sudden now all the stuff you took from the minors and doing other things, it allowed me to fit in and be able to make those plays to the better players. So there's a lot of combination and a lot of stuff in all, in both aspects of the game. And I think that's why this league is so good for learning, is that, you take a look at the guys that go up. Well, a guy like Braden Bowman or a Caden Korzak, they're here when it's scrambling and it may look like they're not getting much done, and then they go to the NHL and they have success because they've gone through what's happened down here and they understand now what it takes to play in the National Hockey League.
We could probably do a whole thing on how defending or playing defense has changed, but puck retrievals,
yes,
and defending with your feet,
yes,
terms that they're critical nowadays.
Yes, they are. And I mean, you tell the guys all the time, if you watch an NHL game, they knock pucks down. They get in the way. Their sticks are in the way. They make little plays when there probably isn't a little play to be made. They defend a play when there's a breakdown. The game has changed and there's a lot more scoring, but there could be a lot more if guys weren't potentially as good as they are at defending.
Whole teams defend. Like when you were talking about the NHL and coaches not liking what you wanted to do, it's because now all five guys defend.
Right.
And that was not necessarily the case back in the day.
That's right. And even to take it one step further, all four lines have the potential to score too. Right. Back in the day, the fourth line usually wasn't a scoring line. It was grind it out and tough guys. The last pair of defense, your 5-6 defensemen they really didn't generate a lot of offense.
Right.
Now you've got guys that are, your 5-6 guys are generating more offense. So the combination of both, I think that's the reason why you have to play, I think, good team defense now, is because there's a lot more scoring in the game, and there's a lot, the players are just better at skills. But, there's still games where you watch NHL and it's tight checking, and it's still fun hockey to watch because guys are quick. And even at our level, even the other night playing against Calgary, it was a good, hard, fast-paced game, and there wasn't much going on. And then, all of a sudden you look at the score clock, and we had a lot more shots than we probably potentially thought we did, right? So, I mean, there's just times that, the game has to revert back to that grind it out kind of thing. But for the most part, it's very, pretty offensive.
Let's hone in on a couple of individuals. You already talked about Lucas Cormier a little bit. We had him on this couch last week, so just to follow up on it, it's funny you say he was one of those guys who said, hey, when did coaches start telling you to go? It's more likely the opposite, like, hey, stop going every time. Maybe you combat that sometimes. But I do wonder, for a player of his offensive caliber, and we've known that for a few years, that's what he does well, I don't know that I've ever seen him defend better than he has the start of this season. I feel like every other game I'm seeing him break up an odd man rush. It feels like his stick usage in his own end. I wonder if that's an area that has grown a little bit. Even last year where he lost so much time, it seems like he learned something.
Well, I think it's kind of grown since he got here. He came off a situation where he had won 2 Best Defenseman awards in junior hockey back-to-back years. He came in and he had a pretty good rookie year as far as, points-wise and that kind of thing. But the one thing I did notice that he just needed to hone his skill on was he did have that competitive edge in the defensive zone. It wasn't like he was swinging all over the place. When he would battle a guy one-on-one or he would be in the corner, he wasn't afraid to be in the corner. So that's a good building block and a good starter. So now it was just a matter of him trying to understand that you can still create offense by being good defensively. Right. And I think that's something that he's grown on. It really is too bad that he did lose that full year last year with the injury, because I just think it would have been one of those situations where I think this year could have been last year, and then you never know what could have happened, as he kind of grew. But it's funny when you say, when does a defenseman go? When does he not go? A lot of times it is within your structure, how you break out and how your forwards are and where they are in the position. You want to make sure that you're supporting the rush. You want to make sure that you're jumping up, but it's not reckless, and it's not without giving support to the defensive side of the puck. So Corms, he still needs, some reminders every once in a while to be in good position, to make those jumps. Like don't get too far outside so that you're having to come back to the inside. Little things that just he's still learning, but he's got a better grasp on what it takes to be an offensive defenseman.
It is interesting. Sometimes we hear two schools of thought, if you will. You could take a defensive defenseman and an offensive-minded defenseman, put them together, they're going to balance each other out well. And Jacob Megna and Dylan Coughlin kind of give you a little bit of that yin and yang.
Right.
But then you have Jeremy Davies and Lucas Cormier, and you've got yang and yang, and they both seem to work.
It's like the two horses that pull the carriage, right? They're both going at the same time. Which strap do you pull to stop which horse, right?
But they both seem to work.
I think the one thing is that it kind of started out like that, where they were kind of all over the place. They were trying to feel each other out. The one thing I like is they communicate very well with each other. You can hear them talking in practice. You can hear them talking on the ice. You hear them talking a lot on the offensive blue line, where they are. That's just Reeds, and that's just two partners that are sitting in the game talking about, hey, maybe I don't have my legs tonight. How are you? Do you have yours? Well, maybe it's your turn tonight to be, the guy that's up ice. Maybe, we'll just read off each other and we'll look to go. And it's just as simple a thing as one guy understanding that he can't always be up ice, because then, if Corms is always up ice, well, then Jeremy doesn't get a chance. Right. Davey doesn't get a chance to go. So you've got to have that good balance. And I think they've, we're growing. I mean, we're still early in the year. And I think from the first 3 or 4 games till now, I think they've gotten that fluidity back. And
they have that first game. I think they combined for like 15 shots on goal.
Yeah.
It was like, and so they've come a long way in a short period of time from that standpoint.
Yeah, and I just told them the one thing I don't want to see is look up in a 5-on-5 video and see both you guys standing below the goal line. That's probably not the best. But I mean, they're getting to that point where they learn off each other, and it's just a matter of taking what the game gives you, and if it's your turn, then you go, and that's just part of being a good tandem.
And then Megna and Coughlin, you have guys who are the veteran presence. They're going to play a lot of minutes. You're going to use them against other teams' top players. But in addition to that, it also seems there's a benefit in having a deep pair when things do get a little bit scrambly, or when the momentum shifts. You need to send a pair out there to just, I need a shift to calm things down.
Right.
And that's something that they do well.
Right. Well, the one thing that you'll notice, and if people are watching games, or you're watching what they're doing out there, just kind of watch how, if we get scrambling in our own end, or if we get a situation where there needs to be a little play that's made, or a puck batted down, or something that has to settle things down, they do that very well. And that's the one thing. The plays don't usually continue on for a long time, because they're making those plays to kind of get us out of trouble. And that's playing NHL games, and that's being around the league a long time, where that's just something that grows with game and game and game in and game out. And the more you play, the more you just learn those little tricks that can help you to make sure that you're either keeping an offensive play alive, or you're killing a play in the defensive zone to make sure that you're not getting into trouble. So I mean, that you play a lot of minutes, it's tough. It is tough on guys, but that's the little things that you learn as you move forward.
Might be tough, but it's better than not getting your number called.
Yeah, that's right. That's exactly right.
Huey, you mentioned the true kid on the back end would be William Kometz. Fans saw a little bit of him last spring. They've seen him early this year. What is the skill set he has that you guys, the flame you guys are really trying to fan as you develop him as a young player?
I think it's just an overall awareness of, how how hard the pro game is coming out of junior. And I think that's the one thing you kind of give to all young defensemen, is to make sure that he understands time, space, moving the puck quickly, not hanging on to pucks, just stuff that you get away with at the junior level. The one thing for me, he's got a good hockey IQ. He understands the game. He's got good attributes when it comes to thinking the game. He's a good skater. He's a good passer. He can make plays. He's going to get bigger and stronger as he grows and matures, and that's the one thing a lot of young D go through. Like that, they're young and inexperienced, and then 2-3 years into their career, they get bigger, they get stronger, they get more experience, more comfortable. So I think the biggest thing for me is just making sure he doesn't try to do too much, just thinking that he has to do too much. And that's the one thing we want, is just to, Nick Holden and I have talked with him quite a bit about not being so busy, but that doesn't mean playing slow. Right, you want to make sure you're in good control so that you can make those plays. And at the end of the day, he's got 5 points in 9 games or something like that. And so really, just keep doing the simple things. Jump up when you can. That's the other thing too. He's got good instincts when to jump up. He's not afraid to go. He's not afraid to go back for pucks, which is something that is,
Big thing nowadays.
It is. So, his commitment to go back for pucks isn't, it's not that he's scared to go back for pucks. The one thing I got to talk to him about is making sure you don't put yourself in a bad position to get run over or get hurt. It's got to be a smart going back. So, I just think the overall is, get him into a rookie year and see kind of what attribute kind of comes out ahead of all the other ones. Is it going to be that he's offensive? Is it going to be that he kills penalties? Is it going to be that he plays 5-on-5? Like something will separate itself as we move along, and maybe it won't. Maybe it'll be that he's just a good two-way defenseman and he just does everything that we want well, and he just kind of rolls with it over the next couple of years.
Hugh, you run the penalty kill. It's fascinating to be in an AHL setting because there are players who just aren't power play players. It's just not the skill set that they have, and they don't expect to be.
Right.
Everyone, I would imagine, should be able to be on the penalty kill. Whether it's work ethic, positioning, your smarts. Everyone should at least be an option if they're willing to do the work to do that. And I would think anyone who wants to make it to the NHL wants to prove that they can do that, because that's another thing you get brought up. Okay, well, he can contribute in this way or that way.
Yes.
So running the penalty kill, of course, you're going to have your units, your guys, but I imagine there's a lot more guys involved in those meetings, and there's a lot more guys that you'd like to make use of on the kill as the season goes along. Is it a bit of a wider tent?
It is, for sure. I mean, we do our penalty kill meeting with the whole team, right? Just so that every single guy understands. And and the one thing is, if we do power play, in practice, it's the guys that typically aren't on the power play, or the penalty kill that end up killing penalties. So they're getting reps and they're learning kind of as you go. And you never know who's going to come out as a true penalty killer. Jonas Ronberg has just turned into an exceptional penalty killer, but coming into the organization, maybe he was expected to kind of score some goals, and but didn't get on the power play. So now you find your niche, and it's helped him get NHL games, and it's helped him when he's gone up and get some more ice time. And so I think everybody can kill 100%. The one thing is you want to try and get guys that aren't on the power play to kill, so that everybody is involved in a team aspect. You're not overtaxing. For some reason you get 6 power plays against, and you get 6. So all of a sudden there's 12 in a game. Well, if Ronberg and those guys have to do both, that's a lot of ice time, right? So Craiger's done a good job of kind of sitting down with me and having me just say, listen, I think this guy can give us a little bit more. A guy like Lazinski, a guy like Uchaz, even though Uchaz is on the power play, he still gives us that center to take draws. Sappy not on the power play just yet, but does a really good job. And the other thing too, I always kind of believe in this. I think the younger guys should get on the penalty kill to teach them stick position and how to angle and do all those things that can apply at 5-on-5. If you just kind of considered an offensive guy, well, look at Jack. I mean, Jack is killing penalties for VGK, and he's a threat, right? So he's put other teams on notice that, hey, if you make a mistake, he's going to go. So I mean, I just think there's room for those guys to jump in, and we try to, at this level, you try to use as many guys as you possibly can, and maybe it's not in their first year, but as towards their first year, maybe leading into their second, they get a little bit of time, and then they take a step.
The way I always look at that, it's called the special teams too. Right? So you get extra minutes.
Right.
So if you're on the power play, this is a special team as well.
For sure. And you know what? The thing about special teams is there's a sense of pride. Like it's you score a goal, great, but you block a big shot on a penalty kill, it just makes you feel good as a player. If you've earned the right to be on those special teams, it makes you accountable what you're doing 5-on-5 and your practice habits, and then all of a sudden you're able to do those things.
Great start to the season for the team. How do you guys keep that good energy going?
Well, I think it's just a matter of our guys understanding that we're a good hockey team. Practice well, play well. We're in a situation where we've got a good group of young kids. We've got our veteran guys are gelling with them right now, and I just think it's one of those things where if the players understand, that they can play fast, they can play good at certain times. Yeah, there's going to be ups and downs and all arounds, but I just think we're in a situation where we've got speed up front now. We've got guys that can move it on the back end, so it's just a matter of putting it together and keeping going.
Jamie, we appreciate you hanging out with us. This has been terrific insight. I'm going to ask you for one more bit of help. It's Wands and Wizards night on Saturday, which I know is your thing. We've already tested. We know that this works. You're going to help us go to commercial break, okay? So when I go to break, you're just going to point at that camera right there. We're just going to a simple swish and flick is how you do it. Don't do it yet because it'll go off. But okay, so just be ready when we go. Assistant Coach Jamie Heward, great hanging out with him. We'll be back in just a few moments. We're horsing around.
Abracadabra.
Hello?
The Silver Knight. I was wondering when I'd be seeing you. I've got just the wand for you. Where is it? I had it here someplace. Just where to... Huzzah! All right, give it a wave.
Wrapping things up on Horsing Around, Brian McCormick, Darren Elliott, getting ready for a big weekend at Lee's Family Forum. 2 games against the Milwaukee Admirals, and it'll be Wands and Wizards night on Saturday, presented by M Resort, as we've got the house sorting scarves.
Nice.
I think I have that upside down. There we go. So the first 3,000 fans in attendance will receive these house sorting scarves, also presented by M Resort.
Huzzah.
Huzzah. Terrific. So make sure you get there early to get yours. If you so choose, the Wands and Wizards ticket bundle available on HendersonSilverKnights.com will come with a ticket, this scarf, and this wand, which we've proven does work.
Not this one, but
well, that's Darren is the wand chooses the wizard, is what I'm told. So that one is Darren's, and it does have a little light at the end, so you know if it's on. Because the worst thing you want to do is wave that thing around the house if it's fully loaded. You got to be very careful. So the Wand and Wizard bundle pack, you can get one of those, and then the players will be wearing these Wands and Wizards jersey, first specialty jersey of the season. We had Jackson showing it off earlier. You can bid on your favorite player's jersey throughout the course of the game on Saturday night. Details at hendersonsilverknights.com. You can also get the details on your screen right now. So lots to look forward to.
That's off the ice, on the ice too.
Yeah, and also off the ice Friday night, we're going to have the tree skirt giveaway as well. So if you need a tree skirt for your Christmas tree that needs a little bit of a Silver Knights touch, a little Silver Bells touch, make sure you're down on Friday night for that as well. But on the ice, Silver Knights taking on a very good Milwaukee Admirals team. We saw them each of the last 2 seasons, and this is one of those cameos for the Central Division on the Silver Knights schedule, but a team that comes in playing well.
They are, 8-2-2 on the season, doing it defensively mostly.
Yeah.
Goaltender has been fantastic. So the challenge will be somebody that you not that familiar with. Can you get to your game and stay there for longer stretches than the opponent?
And for the Silver Knights, you can make an argument. Every team has good goaltending, but this might be the best they've seen thus far in Matthew Murray, who is among the league leaders in pretty much every statistic right now.
Yeah, if you look at the numbers, you're going, how is Milwaukee 8-2-2? It's like, well, they're not giving up very much, and they play a lot of close games. And with his play so far this season, they're winning a majority of those.
And a couple of former Silver Knights coming back in Kyle Marino and Zach Hayes. Zach Hayes, who was very popular on the inaugural team, spent a couple seasons here. And for the VGK curious fan, it'll be their first chance to see a former Golden Knights first-round pick in David Edstrom, who's a member of the Milwaukee Admirals, was traded in the Tomas Hertl deal, now in Milwaukee.
Yeah, and having a good season. But again, there's those kinds of ties. You find that in every league, but especially this league as players move around and try to find the right situation.
And for the Silver Knights, again, we talked about the importance of their win against Calgary on Saturday, a bit of a stopper game, but it's only a stopper game if you follow it up with good hockey, and for the Silver Knights, they're going to look to do much of the same.
Well, and they, let's face it, one of the big changes they wanted to make this season to make it difficult for the opposition in their home building. And, at least Family Forum, they want to make it sure that they're getting their points out of these games. So you're looking at, let's take the first one and then try to get the sweep.
Big points available for the Silver Knights.
They need it because the Pacific,
I think is between second and ninth.
4 points.
4 points. It's bunched up, and
the Pelletron.
Which is, again, to use it for the third time on this show probably, that idea, that adage of by Thanksgiving you look at the standings and everyone's kind of sorted themselves out to where they were, less and less true each year with the parity in all leagues, that you can't say any league that has 4 points between second and ninth that anyone is where they're going to be.
Exactly, and that means it's better hockey longer into the season, more compelling that way. Certainly at the AHL level this year in the Pacific, but also as well at the NHL level. Same thing holding true as some of the younger teams, bottom teams over the last few years have moved up and are garnering many more points in the standings.
Important hockey, great seats still available to see it for yourself. Visit HendersonSilverKnights.com. Big thank you to Jackson Hallum and to Jamie Heward for hopping on with us. For Darren Elliott, I'm Brian McCormick. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next week. We'll be right here, horsing around.